The air was thick with the scent of roses and expensive cologne as Evelyn Hastings twirled in front of the mirror. Tonight, she was dressed to kill, literally and figuratively. The deep red dress clung to her curves, the color of passion, the color of danger. She fastened a diamond bracelet around her wrist and smiled at her reflection. Everything had led to this moment. Evelyn had always believed in fairy tales. She had grown up in a world of wealth, privilege, and promises of everlasting love. When she met Adrian Sinclair at a charity gala, she thought her story was finally beginning. He was the epitome of a gentleman, tall, dark, and devilishly charming. A billionaire entrepreneur, he had every woman in the room vying for his attention. But it was Evelyn he had chosen that night, and from the moment his piercing blue eyes met hers, she was lost in a whirlwind of passion. He courted her with the kind of romance one reads about in novels: private jets to Paris, candlelit dinners on a secluded beach, and poetry whispered against her skin. She had never felt so alive, so utterly consumed by love. Within 6 months, she was wearing his ring. But love has a cruel way of hiding the truth behind velvet curtains. It started with small things. Missed dinners. Unanswered phone calls. Whispers in the dark corners of their mansion when he thought she wasn't listening. Evelyn brushed it off. Adrian was a busy man. His empire demanded his time. But then came the real cracks. A lipstick stain on his shirt that wasn't hers. The faint smell of jasmine perfume on his jacket. She despised jasmine. And then, one fateful night, she saw it with her own eyes. A text message. Last night was unforgettable. When can I see you again? Her hands trembled as she held his phone, the message glowing like a neon sign of betrayal. She had given him everything, her love, her trust, her soul. And he had thrown it all away. Evelyn didn't confront Adrian right away. No, she was too smart for that. Instead, she played the perfect wife, watching, waiting, collecting evidence. Every time he left for business meetings, she followed. Every time he stayed out late, she checked his phone. And then, finally, she saw her. Sophia Laurent. A stunning brunette with high cheekbones and a smile that could make men weak. She was an executive in Adrian's company, a woman with power, influence, and apparently, no morals. But Evelyn was not a woman to be crossed. If Adrian thought he could betray her and walk away unscathed, he had underestimated her. She began her own affair, one that wasn't based on love but on revenge. Enter Damien Blackwood, Adrian's business rival. A man just as powerful, just as cunning, but with a thirst for vengeance that matched her own. Evelyn seduced Damien effortlessly. Their passion burned hot and reckless, fueled by their mutual desire to destroy Adrian. Every time Adrian kissed her, whispered "I love you," Evelyn imagined Damien's hands on her body, his lips marking her skin. She was playing a dangerous game, but she didn't care. One night, as Evelyn lay in Damien's bed, her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "You think you're winning this game, but you're playing with fire. Stop before it's too late." Her heart pounded. Who knew? Had Adrian found out? Had she underestimated him? The next day, she received a package. Inside was a single photograph. It showed her and Damien in a passionate embrace, but that wasn't what sent a chill down her spine. It was the second figure in the background, Adrian, watching from the shadows. She had been caught. That evening, Evelyn walked into their mansion with her head held high, expecting a fight. But Adrian wasn't angry. He wasn't even surprised. He sat in his leather chair, swirling a glass of whiskey, watching her like a predator watches its prey. "So, it was never about love, was it?" he murmured. "Just revenge." Evelyn's breath hitched. He knew everything. Adrian stood and walked toward her. "I knew about Damien the moment you laid eyes on him. Did you really think you could outplay me, Evelyn?" He smirked, tilting her chin up. "You're beautiful, but you're not ruthless enough." Her pulse quickened. "What are you going to do?" He leaned in, his lips brushing her ear. Nothing, he whispered. Because I already won. Her heart stopped. What do you mean? He stepped back, tossing a file onto the table. She opened it, her blood turning to ice. Inside were bank statements, phone records, and forged documents with her signature. You embezzled millions from my company, he said casually. Well, at least, that's what the authorities will believe. Panic seized her. You set me up. He chuckled. Sweetheart, I don't lose. Tears burned her eyes. This wasn't just betrayal. This was annihilation. But Evelyn was no fool. She had one last card to play. You're right, she whispered, stepping closer. I'm not ruthless enough. But Damien is. Adrian's smirk faded. She slid a flash drive onto the table. This contains every dirty deal you've ever made. Offshore accounts, bribery, the works. And guess what? It's already in Damien's hands. Adrian's eyes darkened. Evelyn smiled sweetly. You think you won, love. Think again. She turned and walked away, leaving behind the only man she had ever loved. He had played the game well, but in the end, she had outplayed him. As she stepped into her car, her phone buzzed. A message from Damien. Game on, sweetheart. And just like that, the war had only begun. The end. Just the beginning.